Always consider your ping when you do something. Control plus F7 for performance stats, especially when driving. More will be under. This also includes shooting at enemies behind obstacles. Shoot where the enemy gets out and he will still be killed. This is some kinda a special feature of the game that is not given to noobs. There is a problem in the game. Because of some scripts, the entire server can go to hell. Sometimes all players' ping can jump to impossible levels of from 20 to 60 or even from 80 to 100,000 pings. The record number for me was 147,000, after which everyone just leaved out. This phenomenon is called ping spikes or ping wave, when the entire server is simultaneously covered by a wild ping. Voice and text chat are still working, but text chat manages to lag. Your messages will sometimes be locally repeated like if you would resend them. Such ping waves last for a maximum of 10 minutes, sometimes 20, or maybe you can wait for hours. If the number is from 2 to 3,000 and it is not growing, then most likely you were simply disconnected from the server due to problems in your network. Also follow the traffic rules. Drive only on the right side. This is a Russian island, not the UK, not Australia, not Uganda, not. Oh, fuck it. Here's a list of countries that drive in the left lane. Check the right and left before entering the road, exiting the road and any other intersection, or entering the roadway. Give way to cars that go uphill if you go downhill. Give way to cars on the main road. The main roads can be considered all those that are more smoother, or rather those on which you can reach a high speed without braking. Secondary, entering or crossing them, those that enter the road itself from a side. First of all, it's an open world, we're all on the same team, units from different countries fighting with some kind of mercenaries or militia for territory. The key task is to clear the points by appropriating them for ourselves and clear the bunker, which opens after clearing all the bases, in any order. The heaviest ones are the naval and fort. The most filled are Sakrena, Solo, and Ronograd, squad and more. Easy stuff, everything else. Kozlovka or Gwatia and Depot can be taken with one load. After completing the tutorial, we immediately go and open HQ in the main menu lobby. Now you will be spending all money on HQ until you have everything at max with S++ mercenaries. Stop touching players in open world with questions about HQ. Learn to read, luckily for you. More about HQ will be below. Don't rely on public squads. If you can't recognize is that the enemy in front of you or a teammate, then turn off game and go to the optics store. Buy glasses or lenses, you're blind and you're a defective unit. We don't need you in game. The squad marks are very annoying and make it difficult to recognize opponents. In real life, no one will be running with a mark over their head. Open your eyes. Due to the render's features, the equipment completely disappears from both teammates and enemies, leaving only the helmet and NVG visible. I'll attach tests with teammates, different helmets, different elements, NVGs and visors. I'd like to say, but that motherfucker has leaved after minute. Attention, there is a bug. If you have sent an invite to someone, you will not be able to access the public or vice versa. If a player has sent an invite, he will not be able to accept anyone else and will also be cut off from public squads. Open the menu again. Remove all the invites in the Manage squad. All enemies look the same. We have only two types. 1. The opposition of cities and villages. 2. The militas PMC on military objects. The same military f***ts arrive by helicopter when enemies raising the alarm. The heli fly only to Sakrena and Rono, and they always spawn on the naval and fort since it is from where they come to other points. A helicopter can also fly to Kozlovka, but no one gives a fuck about it. The defenders have types of shirts and body armor that are inaccessible to players, which immediately distinguishes them from the players. Defenders usually run without helmets. The clothes are just as provocative and immediately shows them. Enemies only have a single NG on one eye, and that's on the right when teammates have it on the left. But nobody using that monocular shit. Such an NG is found only among naval and fort. Therefore, before the arrival of heli, you are unlikely to see such faggots, unless, of course, among the same crowd of NPCs. It is impossible to confuse them with teammates, but if you do, you have obvious problems with your head or eyes. The enemies have only 2 types of land vehicles and 1 air transport. An armored Humvee pickup truck, an armored open Ural impossible for players to get, and our Russian helicopter. Enemies never using car lights. The enemies walk at nav mesh. Enemies can run on with shift, but the straight from point to point, without jumping or even looking around. When running to the artillery, they putting away their weapons, but when they see a player, they are taking weapon back in hands. But they may not even notice you point blank. It has already been said that they run around without trying to dodge and wobble, from point to point, almost always hiding behind objects or lying down when they reach their position. And as I said at the beginning, we don't give a f if they hide or not. Just shoot where he gets out. He'll be killed anyway, even if he was hiding. It does not apply to players in PvE and PvP. You need to shoot at enemies at the same time, both straight for the client and ahead of time for the server. Because for you, the character is running in one place, but your bullets are already flying behind him because for the server this NPC has already run from that place. Each point can be taken solo, you can be spotted and reinforcements will arrive. For kill and stealth you getting more money. Almost every point except the villages has mortar, artillery, 1 in depot, 4 in Sakrana, 1 in quarry, 3 in Ronograd, 4 on naval and fort, 1 at DOU and radar. After killing a unit on the mortar, a new unit tries to run there. Sometimes they are fooling, waiting for half a minute. The unit that runs on the mortar puts away his weapon and sometimes ignores the player even when running near him, but can instantly pull out a weapon and start shooting. The mortar can be disassembled. It's your main task. The mortar hits not just hard, but really fucking hard, sometimes even one-shotting, and off-course damages cars. Also, almost every point has a unit with an RPG. In addition to the same snipers, RPGs are dangerous if you walk in a group. 1 lucky shell can destroy whole squad. Some captured points like Sakrana, Department of Utilities and Ronograd also have armory as on spawn, FOB. Magazines, ammunition, and medicine are free. We put dressing and then a bandage. Restores more health. Vitamins cost money and heal the player quickly, but they are applied within a few seconds, which can still kill you if you decide to throw them only when the HP is at the bottom. Grenades, smoke and flash grenades cost money, but they help you not to risk your character when you clearing building or coming out from behind the wall. The smoke works as a cone blocking the visual of enemies from the place of the throw. The direction of the cone depends on where you threw it. It goes exactly forward from the thrower's side. If it bounces off, it will change direction. Very few people use smoke, because for dumb fuckers, it's like a simulator of hedgehog in the fog, and normal people can handle raid without it. Magazines can be refilled, either manually with the help of boxes with the same caliber or mags, drag 1 mag to other, or completely at once with the help of refill boxes at bases or points. About the equipment, the model of the armor and helmet does not give a thing. It's all just decorations on the character. You can put NG on the helmet. The main thing is a backpack. It depends on the model how much you can carry with you. For some, this is not aesthetically pleasing. Bro, who even cares what you have on your fucking back? Different helmets, armors, and backpacks have their own coloring pages and camouflage patterns. This is done so that people spend more effort and money on creating their character. For example, there are only a few variations of pouches and attachments on our 6v4, which often leads to the complete identity of some operatives from certain branches due to the small number of certain things. But this does not apply to the basic community of Europeans and Americans, since in general, everything after our EMR joke has a mixed bat or Vericum camouflage by default and Ranger green or Coyote tan, coloring pages as additional. About half of the store has additional black coloring variations. A very limited number have gray, brown, and mixed bat black, which are almost a luxury. It's hard to make a normal costume with rare coloring camos. And you don't dare even looking at this shit until 50th level. The game gives us an M16, a default helmet, an NVG for 2 eyes that focuses vision in the middle of the screen. We are calling it for free NVG, it's fine, but you can't even do normal rate of building with this. so just add the gamma on the monitor brightness. All other NVGs in the game allow you to see around, but with a darkened tint. There is a single NVG, dirty but more tactful and made for average gameplay where it is often switching. A double one is cleaner and more accurate than a single one, but it closes the eyes around more, although it also looks like a monocular. Quad lenses, wide NVG, lack of coloring. You can also transfer gear to your newbie friends through the vehicle's cargo. It is forbidden to throw stuff on the floor, only a primary or second weapons, ammunition, propellant, and medicine. Unloading everything inside of car. The person who made a clean loadout picking up all your garbage and put it on himself. You can just go back to the menu and all your stuff will spawn again on you. Now you and your teammate looks the same. Congrats. Don't forget to give him some mags, as he will only see mags for the weapon that he took. If he even took weapon, bro clean loadout is supposed to be clean, and not what is on his character right now. I'll add this section here. The must-have in the game is the Game Pass's Shadow Raid for 450 Robux and Airborne Recon for 600 Robux. You can also take Chinook. Shadow gives you black and sand quad lenses with the ability to repaint them in sand, black special camouflage for almost all weapons, and black special clothing. Airborne or Recon gives you the fastest car in the game for free, and it's also completely free to repair, even if it explodes. But I can say that the car is very delicate and won't survive much, so we drive fast but carefully. The open driver's seat makes you an easy target, as do the passengers on the side. Additional config of car for a cargo module or 2 additional seats with a smaller trunk. You also get a beautiful vest with specific elements exclusive to this particular model. Cool camouflage for some guns and even attachments. And about the Chinook, it's just a huge helicopter, also for free with Game Pass. Big doesn't mean good. I didn't want to write anything about guns at all, but I'll add just a little bit. You can kill fuckers with a default M16. There is nobody fuck what weapon you have. Everything except a pistol kills in the head anyway. The newly added PKM is a heavy machine gun that is impossible to run with, but it is a machine gun. The M249 is literally a heavy M4 with a drum mag. And since the game doesn't have a surface penetration system yet, the Hecate sniper rifle sucks, as the Ultima Ratio and M110A3 are considered the player's favorites, fast and one-shotting in head. Attention bug: if the weapon has stopped firing due to a quick change or treatment, you need to throw the weapon on the floor and pick it up again. This can happen with any automatic gun. Retaking weapon from sling will not help. You need to drop it on floor. There is also an important bug. The flashlights on the helmet are not visible in the first person. There is no fix option yet. I've already tried to put the helmet back on. The same bug with weapons. If you turn on the flashlight from a third person, it will not be visible in the first person. Pick up the weapon again and turn on the flashlight from the first. When creating a character, when there's almost no f***ing money, we hang the sight on the rifle, put on a cheap NG, and if it possible, we taking biggest backpack. I don't know a shit how much money they give out from the very beginning. After spawn, we go to the armory, or if you're in the FOB, to the garages. There are the same tables with armory. We took the gear, dressings, and bandages, opening vehicle's spawn tablet, and buying ourselves the cheapest Jeep for $150. Sit in 2 and ride somewhere. Map. The red flags are uncapped points, the green ones are the opposite. Now about the mechanics of the game. The game has shortcuts or binds. They can be customized in the menu, M button and settings tab. Binds can be exchanged for weapons in the loadout. The main bind is the tab button. To use squads, tab. To use medicine, tab. To use attachments on the helmet, tab. To use attachments on weapons, tab. Or binds. Turning on the headlights, activating the handbrake, turning off and starting the car back, tab. However, the turn signals on the ZXC buttons, Z left, C right, X, hazard light. If there are bipods on the weapon, we can bring them close to the surface or obstacle and put them on bipod. You can put it on the side or higher from yourself and shoot at enemies by hiding behind a wall or obstacle. So you will be easily shooting at enemies who cannot respond in any way. I didn't check it in PvP. Bipods are easy to pull off. There are bipods that can be attached to the handguard or lower Picatinny rail. There are those that are counts as weapon configuration. For example, PCAM, M249, or Hecate. Bipods can be placed on temporary objects, players' cars. If you put the bipods on the car, either in it or on it, the bipods will instantly fly off with car movement. Players who have fallen to the ground near death can be healed with a tab. It is more correct to do this in the first person, because you, blindies, cannot hit medicals at player from the third, but instead, using bandages on yourself and not on a pin to the ground teammate. 5 HP dressings, 10 HP bandages, 25 HP dressing and bandage, slow 100 HP vitamins. Players who have fallen to the ground can be dragged. The player does not lose HP when being dragged. A special script works when you're dragging someone. It calculates your movement and does not allow you to drag a teammate through walls or objects. You need to avoid obstacles. It is strictly forbidden to drag players lying on the transport, as moving objects do not let the system understand where the injured player is and can send him into space. You will kill him because of your stupidity. If the car is flipped, hold any button from the WSD and wait for half a minute. It will turn over on its wheels, from the side or even a roof. Any car, especially those with open wheels or in front, Recon and Humvee, easily climb obstacles. For example, if some blocks your way, try to climb on his car pushing against walls, objects, or his own car. You can do a crazy trick with any car in the tunnel. Barrel roll. If you're getting attacked while you are inside of the car, there is a chance that you will get shot through. If you are near a vehicle, do not move away from it. Bullets pass through the car if you are next to it. The damage will go to the car. If you move away, then both the car and you will take damage. I can say that car actually penetrates like paper, but if you're nearby, then you don't getting that much damage. Sometimes you can even lie right on the front of car, and if you're lucky enough, then a few bullets that hit you won't cause damage. But it's just fantastic. It's fairy. Don't play with this. When a transport explodes, everyone who is sitting inside instantly dies. Those who are standing inside may not even receive damage if the transport explodes from bullets. But from the mine, usually everyone falls, both those who were sitting in the car and those who were standing on the car and those who were just standing next to it. A mine can blow up other people's cars standing next to it. The doors can be opened, slowly opened by holding the button, pick a locked and kicked out. To open, press. To open slowly, hold. To pick a lock, door must be locked. Press the handle and press LMB in special zone. To break the door, press on the center of the door and the character will kick it loudly. 1 blow is enough for wooden doors, 2 or 3 for iron ones. We spamming button while preparing to shoot in enemies behind those doors. The game has a global voice chat. Press escape, turn on voice on the left top. Without pressing control, transmit voice. Only the players near you can hear your voice. With control, the whole server, the frequency can be changed. The bind and 3 buttons of frequency like 228, 325, etc. The chat always works on a global frequency. If you want to write to someone privately, then push buttons to turn off the radio and your messages will be written only over the character's head. I wrote about ping, but the cool feature is shooting through walls from a third person. If you are close to the wall from the first person, then your weapon will lowered by the system, making it difficult to shoot, but there is no such thing from a third person. We approach the edge of the wall, or even bump into a fence/door/wall. Stick the muzzle through and shoot. It's clear that it's easier to shoot from the edge when you see who you're hitting, but you can also fuck around blindly or kill those who you saw with a bug. Don't be afraid of the water. If cars and helis explodes in it instantly, then your character just rides on the waves like the weapon or any part of the equipment is immediately removed when water waves rising you with their collision. Rivers with ordinary Roblox water not letting cars go through, but you can't swim in them either by sinking on the bottom. The anti-aircraft system, or AA, only shoots at those who rise at least a millimeter above the setup itself. We're just flying near the water, and we don't give a fuck that AA is working. Someone says that it is enough to lift very high, but it is also dangerous. Previously, it was possible to dodge missiles on Little Bird if you flew at maximum speed away from the turret, but it seems to have been fixed. Let's go back to the map and the points. Never ask the question, is naval or fort AA is down again if you are a pilot. All this can be checked on the map. Each base has squares drawn on the objectives if no one has completed them, whether it is the planting of the object or the anti-aircraft system itself. The VIP target is marked with a sight mark when someone approaches the base and triggers the spawn of NPCs. When a certain number of remaining enemies are reached, the map can begin to highlight enemies on the map for the entire server with red dots. If you see piles of red dots around the red flag, it means that this point has almost been cleared. Depending on the complexity of the point and the number of remaining shaders, decide for yourself to go there or switch to the next point. HQ and materials. HQ is literally a fallout shelter. We hire people with certain skills and put them to work in certain branches. We bought in operators. Well, that's what I call these fuckers. Set them up to make materials. We bought drivers, put them on cars and gave them materials for sale. Cars can only be loaded at 100%, even if the S++ driver shows that he alone adds 200% to the load. You can still load the car at 100% only at one time, but one operator can be used multiple times. Therefore, we set up all the materials randomly in order to load the machines as much as possible and send them several times. We buy logistics specialists and put them in warehouses. They add slots for the materials that you store. We buy workers for the command center. They are looking for better mercenaries for the base. The list is updates every 12 hours. You can make materials or you can stole them. Transportation with materials can be at almost every enemy point. Mostly there are trucks with construction materials and fuel. The amount of trucks at Naval is crazy, but there are only 3 cars. There are no trucks on the fort, but just a lot of cars. About the materials in HQ and updating the parts. The upgrade is require of materials and money. The most basic are building materials and fuel. Special equipment and metals are difficult to produce, and even S++ operators can only make 1 metal in 12 hours or 6, I don't know. One operator makes a certain amount of materials of a certain type in a certain period of time. I do not know what and how much it takes under which operators. Just sit and wait. As mentioned, materials can be sold for money, the most expensive metals and equipment. According to the idea, drivers' cooldown goes till their delivery. There is a timer in the tablet in the shipments tab, where, for what amount and for how long the material will be going. For more staff in certain branches, it is required to update the base parts using a certain amount of money and materials, so sometimes people fight for materials just to update their HQ. I say right away that it is forbidden to interfere with the delivery of materials. Consider ping when overtaking someone. For another client, you are still behind him if you overtook him on the server side. For the player, you just stood behind him and drove through, forcing the game to flip his car. I don't think you will be banned for this, but you will definitely become the last target in the eyes of the driver whose car you have flipped over because of your stupidity. More about cars. You can easily stand in every vehicle, even helicopter, so there is no need to take sitting spots. Striker have only 7 to 8 places, but it still can transfer whole server inside, 25 people. For example, the Striker's door opens, and inside, several dummies starts shooting in enemies, additional help for turrets to shoot meat. Sitting in some places, for example in the doorways of a helicopter door or occupying the last place in the back of a supply truck, you can hold a weapon and fire. You can get into many cars or onto many cars either by crouching down or knowing certain places. For example, when crawling into a Striker, duck down, otherwise you won't get in. When climbing into the Tiger, also keep your head down, otherwise you just won't go into it. After you can just get up inside and even run out of the car. It's unnecessary to duck when you're already in it. In order to climb onto the truck for turret, climb from the back to the right and then jump several times. Vehicles and helicopters have mouse steering system, Alt button. Also about turrets. Each turret that has a camera has a thermal vision. The enemies are highlighted and everything around becomes a little brighter. The reloading of the turret is long and does not indicate. Press R and wait. Restart the thermal vision every half minute if there are no enemies in sight. Roblox himself fights with the scripts, preventing it from working properly, so sometimes enemies not showing at all. Don't prevent the turret from shooting, and don't slide over its camera when standing on top of Striker, Griffin, or Tiger. The camera doesn't fully show where the bullets are going. Camera is under barrel or on the sides. Every remote turret is different, so you can shoot a little higher or in a side than the camera sees, or you can ask the driver to stand behind the fence. Since the NPCs are shooting only at the car and not the turret, they will ignore the thing sticking out from the top of the fence. I do not know what I can say about helicopters. Well, the physics has been redone, and now you can turn on the lights at each one, becoming a Christmas tree. Learning to fly is very easy. The usual physics is like in Arma. Engine on tab. Now the important thing is the raids on objects and the behavior of bots. The raid begins when one of the players approaches the compound and triggers script of spawning enemies in the entire compound. Rating bar appears on top, showing how many teammates against how many enemies, and a stealth slider, as I said. You getting more money for killing in stealth, so having a silencer on the weapon is really important. We slowly but surely kill everyone so that other enemies do not see the corpse of their teammate. If you did not kill the enemy with the first bullet, the stealth slider may fill with a red line. Quickly kill the one who reacted to the bullet, and the slider will fall again. Or, if you have a loud weapon but you are shooting from a distance, just wait and the slider will fall by itself. The enemies will think that it has been a wind. Of course, if slider didn't fill fully. If one of the enemies sees corpse, he can start calling for reinforcements by radio. They often do this standing right over the corpse, but sometimes they run to a safe place, which simply forces us to a fight with a large number of enemies. When there is only 2 to 5 enemies remain, compound can already become ours by itself. Yes, enemies still will be standing on map, but compound will be marked with green flag, with red dots around. At the end of each raid, some enemies get stuck in the doors. They spawn, but Navmesh cannot adjust the direction by simply forgetting about the NPC. If you see dots on the map behind the doors, don't be afraid to shoot clearly at it. On Naval, for example, almost every double door of the cave has such the player cannot pass through. An invisible obstacle blocks player's entity, but not bullets. It's a thrill to shoot them from the striker turret. After landing the entire set of soldiers, the helicopters fly back to the naval or fort. In general, you can just shoot them down for fun. It's supposed to slow them down. Almost every base has mines. Open your eyes and don't run over them. They will instantly kill you or put you on the ground. As I said, when NPCs find a player, they call for help, and additional NPCs come out from different doors and locations on the bases. Often, a heli flies on many points, mercilessly harasses everyone who is behind him or left of his ass. Inside of heli, a lot of enemies. Heli is slowly circling around the compound, landing down either upon arrival or in the middle of the patrol to drop enemy military units with good weapons and armor. At least I was constantly confronted with military precisely because of heli. A helicopter can be shot down with 0.75/1M249 SAW magazine, or for 3 to 4 mags of any assault rifle. A helicopter pilot can be killed by shooting through the center of the cockpit window, the central part of the cockpit's frontal element. While killing the pilot, the heli simply falls, and those sitting in it either die or stop being active, allowing themselves to be killed. I very rarely did this, and I only shot down 2 helicopters by killing the pilot. Mostly I blew them up with direct shots into the hull from a machine gun, killing everyone sitting inside, but not getting paid for it at all. When a certain number of enemies were killed at the bases, they sending their vehicle, or even multiple with their reinforcements. Kozlovka, Goatia. In the middle of raid, a truck arrives. We shoot down the machine gunner, and everyone sitting inside becomes zombies or dead meat. We kill the driver by thrusting the muzzle of the weapon inside with third person. Also heli coming from Sakrena or Pushkino. Take it down with LMG. Depot. At the end, a door opens from the side of the hangar, and the dudes come out. From the side of the entrance, where there are several houses between them, enemies spawn and go to the main entrance. From behind the depot, from the house, and from the other house in front of the depot. I don't remember from where. Maybe from the back. Military dudes came in. Corey, nothing. It's just trash. Maybe they'll spawn. But if you've already reached the cave, then the enemies won't do a damn thing. Sakrana, a heli flies out and unloads a bunch of after the half a Humvee with people rides from the quarry, and at the end a cloud of enemies comes out trying to spam the door with their bodies. If solo, knock down heli and go across the shore. Lestalina, forest field, heli arrives and puts more snipers and more people for the main building with VIP. Well, we just kill them all and that's it. Ronograd, heli takes off and also unloads faggots after several laps. There is mortars on 3 roofs, an automatic rifle or a machine gun, or even a fucking sniper who likes to one-shot, looks out of almost every window. We immediately break into the buildings and start going up the stairs. We shooting at each flight as enemies sometimes stand on the stairs. Don't be afraid to abuse the system. If you remember where the enemies are in which rooms, we shoot them up right through the walls and doors. Slowly going up to the roof, killing the mortar and break it apart. And continue going on other building. Some people get stuck in the 3-story building on the left, standing in a crowd. In the middle or at the end, when reinforcements are coming, there are 2 trucks riding, one on the bridge from the bases, one from the tunnel. After the bridge, they unload dudes on the road and in front of the mines between the houses. The dude from the tunnel stopping vehicle near tunnel's exit and just stands there. Their nav mesh is broken right now. Ronograd has many mountains to climb, snipers recommended. Department of Utilities, or DU, well, I don't know much about it. There is helicopter, there are RPGs, machine guns, snipers, and a lot of units that sometimes go from below. The hangar is full of fighters. It's better to raid with a team from above and below. If you delay, they will also gain amount of dudes quickly like on Naval. Radar station, snipers and 1 mortar, machine guns in some places. We flew in, killing everyone from above. Through the building or down into the tunnel, we go into the radar underground and killing everyone, including VIP, that's it. Bridge, mines and hedgehogs, kill a sniper and 2 turret dudes, then push their fortifications before a Humvee with a turret arrives. Kill everyone and wait for the bridge to clear itself and open. Some NPCs can reoccupy the turrets. Don't let them do it. Yes, I'll repeat. Bridge will open by itself after like minute or something. Naval base, a fierce crowd, shots everywhere, a lot of snipers, machine guns and mortars. There is a Humvee with and several spots with heavy machine guns. In some places there are RPGs. We shot down a heli, shot down several mortars, clearing the main building with a VIP and trying to go inside the cave with submarines, preferably from behind. These fuckers stands very well around the submarine. Pinning down everyone who gets out into the doorway. The push without heavy machinery is very difficult. Even with transport the chances are 50-50ths, or higher depends on unit skill. If you don't kill them quickly enough, they will get back with whole team again and settle down in the cave. There spawns very quickly in all those doors. Be careful, they have a lot of Spec Ops units in cave. Those dudes giving nice headshots even on long distance. Fort Ronograd, here I would even recommend using smoke. There are a lot of machine gun and sniper points, 2 helicopters and 4 mortars. The main building has a ton of open windows with machine guns, raiding either with vehicles or running away immediately to the side and slowly sneaking in. In the middle of raid, trucks with heavy units going from the tunnel, RPGs and smokers will be inside. Do not get closer. Better if you can block their way with your vehicle so truck will stop and not let dudes leave their sits. Don't spam cars in the tunnel. Don't stop others from driving with your cheap trash cans. Almost at the end, the enemies come out of the garages at the beginning of the fort, push the main entrance, sit down at the machine guns or lie down on the roof and all units of all levels gather together, purchasing different equipment and arrive on their own transport. Some people spawning armored vehicle, some spawns supply trucks and some cargo vehicles, and the infantry takes any other vehicle that they will drop near bunker entrance. The main vehicles in the bunker are Striker, Cougar, and this shit, Griffin. The PvP machine, which our team calls a toilet, can be pushed into a freight elevator, almost at the very end of the bunker. However, information about this surfaced quite a long time ago and may not be relevant. It is now accepted that everyone who drives 4x4 vehicles into the bunker is either lazy or fucking sickers. Don't have more than 4 wheels? Get the fuck out of the bunker. Smokes don't work in the bunker. I didn't check the flash grenades because the frags goes better. The time limit is half hour, and the raid itself can be completed in 10 minutes. For winning the bunker, being alive in the last part of the bunker, everyone gets 3k. The top killer can get from 3 up to 4k for stealing almost all the kills in the bunker. It goes up to 6k and maybe more. My usual purchase is a bunch of f***ing magazines, a lot of grenades, 30 each, and a whole backpack of vitamins. As a result, I spend 2 to 3k on purchase and take out 5 to 6k from the bunker. After closing the doors, each part of the bunker is shipped. This does not apply to the part with the launch shaft and the main hallway. After clearing the entire map, a bunker opens near the DOU, so it's better to clear the radar last, so that people can move from the naval or fort to the DOU, and so that there are no enemies on the DOU itself. Then you can safely prepare the cars, load them not only with ammunition and ammos, but also throw equipment for the quarries. As it was written, it is recommended to take Strikers and Griffins, or even Cougar, but Cougar has an ordinary mechanical turret. The infantry can walk by the side of vehicle, or they can lie in a group on top of the vehicles without interfering with the turrets and lying either in the middle or on the back of the vehicle. I can say that one infantryman with a saw can do more than a tool. Do not block turret's view and lie behind it. The beginning of the bunker. After 5 minutes, the doors slowly open, allowing everyone to enter a small room, which can accommodate from 8 to 10 cars, or 6 cars and 1 fucking Blackhawk. We stand in 2 rows and wait for the doors to close. After opening, he immediately writes that the doors will be closed within a minute. After closing them, the entire map is getting reloaded, but not Bunker 4. Everyone who is at any point is surrounded by enemies. I can say that you can camp enemies or VIPs. After that, the next gut opens. Cars pass in their turn, someone skips, someone brazenly enters. Building one column so that if one of the cars dies, it can be bypassed. Well, there was such an idea, but in the end, these just ride in one line straight in the middle, and everyone has already given up on it. It has become the default. Killing NPCs, there will be one gasser and several cool dudes, but they just meeting. After everyone drives in and stops in front of the door, the infantry goes through the vent on the left and open the door with a button on the other side. You can crawl even further and immediately find yourself in the barracks, starting to killing them from the back in the additional rooms. There are both RPG and PKM in this long corridor. It is advisable to get off the vehicle and walk near it. We put the cars in 2 rows. The one that went first, whose ass has already suffered a lot, goes behind everyone, preferably even behind the supply car. The infantry is just going to the barracks and pressing the button at the end, and now the real shit starts. Immediately after opening, you will be greeted by dozens of dudes are lying on the floor. There is a gun in every window, a dude in every room. On the bridge at the end of the room, 1 RPG and PKM. There are also enemies among and behind the containers. That is 2 options, or you need to rush inside, killing all of them if you manage, and of course if you have enough bullets, so you will not stop in the middle of the room under bullets, or you slowly pass taking a huge damage, but killing everyone you see. It's still better for the infantry to be near, not on top, and push after the transport. After you're allowed in, help the cars. The turret operators won't be able to handle it themselves. There's a lot of enemies there. After killing everyone, it's better to change cars again, but it's up to the group choice. The door opens with a button in a small room. There's a long tunnel ahead. You can just drive half of it on one of the damages vehicle, and then swap it on other at one of the posts, halfway or something. In the hallway you will need to find and press 3 electrical panels. I will mention them. A long corridor opens. To the right after the door there is a small pocket with 2 people. Several come out at you from middle. After some obstacles and single shooters. There are 2 doors for infantry facing each other. In the left a room with a gazzer. In the right a corridor with the same gazzer and a passage to the very end of the corridor. That is, while the main column is moving forward. Some infantry can immediately begin to crush enemies from behind helping. Then the column will see the first post. It is necessary to go around the obstacle. There are enemies behind each defense. There are gunners on the hills. The first panel is in the left room on the hill. Then there is the next post in the form of a pocket. The enemies also sit behind every obstacle and on handmade hills. The second panel is on the right side of the pocket, behind fences. Next is the parking lot. The same post as the first one, but without such thick barricades in the middle. There are also enemies on the hills. We killing them and going to the left side behind the fence. There is a third shield. Next is a small corridor. We put the cars correctly, preferably in a line. The strikers can flock next to each other. They have exits at the back. All other cars should stand so as not to interfere with people walking between them and around. After that, we shove our way into the corridor, where those who helped to beat the enemies from behind are already waiting. When all three panels are activated, a timer is given for about a minute to open the door at the end of the corridor. We get to the lower level of the launch shaft, where is a rocket that we are trying to stop. The enemies are on the barricade to the left and behind the walls. Nothing important here. Do not forget about the enemies behind the rocket itself. As it can be shot through, we shoot near the flash. We reach the freight elevator. The first one who enters starts the timer in half a minute. Everyone who is outside the elevator teleports inside. There is a chance that those who have a PC or those who will run and jump on the spot will fall under the elevator. If they are lucky, they will fall immediately while the elevator is still low and will wait for the next point with a teleporter. Do not approach the bars along the edges. In elevator shaft, it will also pull you down and you will fall and die, or survive if you are lucky enough to open the parachute and also will wait for the next teleporter. At the beginning of the elevator movement, those who were in it do not teleport, but because of this they can simply jump out without taking part in the battle until the next teleport. While you're on your way up, take care of your teammates or at least yourself and transfer ammos from the half-empty magazines to load a few full ones. We already have on gasser in front of the fence doors. Throw a grenade over the right wall and into the distance to the far door. Here is some enemies, and there's an open part of the launch shaft on the left. There are balconies with ladders in the shaft. It's a passage to the enemies' backs. There are stairs behind the door, where there is an enemy on each flight, and at the end there is a corridor with 4 elevators where enemies are also sitting, and teammates who entered the back through the shaft. A timer of half a minute is also activates from first entered at any of elevators, and everyone, even those who were at the bottom of the first elevator, is getting teleported to the last elevators. The same bug that if you have problems with the internet or PC, you can fall through the elevator. But now there is no floor at the bottom of this elevator shaft, and you will fall into the abyss, dying on invisible walls or floor, without even being able to open the parachute. When the elevators open, there's a dead end and one enemy on the right, a turn with the enemy on the left and the entrance to the room, a closet with the enemy on the left, 2 corridors on the right, one with rooms, the other is armory. Next is the small gut with another room and a table in it. From the gut and the room there are passages to the main hall. In the same room there is ventilation for passage into the back of enemies. After killing everyone, we go to the terminal in the middle of the stands, where we need 2 keys. The first key is in the rooms, the third room on the right side. The second key is on the table, in the room by the gut. Since there are a lot of dumpers in BRM5, they can't even find the first key, which is why it always becomes the second one. After activation, everyone gettings their money and teleporting back at the deploying menu. Players have the most obtuse tradition, shooting on the map where is, America? Supposed to be, is it counts like friendly fire? Don't forget to reset cars after completing the raid in the fog. Don't leave your trash in the main hallway.